What's up, guys? Welcome to the ABNC show. My name is Zain Hashmi, and I'm your host. And we're fucking soloing it today. My co-host is usually Josh Sharp, but Josh is a very busy guy. And we all have personal shit. We try to make the time to do the show and all that, but sometimes our schedules don't always line up, and that's okay. And I I'm fucking doing this solo. I've never actually done a solo podcast by myself. So for me, this is like kind of a first time kind of winging it. I'm just like going to be talking to myself for fucking hopefully an hour ish. I don't know. So if you're annoyed by my voice, it's going to be like this for quite a while, at least until the end of the episode. It's gonna feel a little different today, and this is the fucking episode of this week. So let's get into it. Josh hopefully will be back next week, and we'll be kicking ass next week. My brother in arms will return. Don't you worry, everything's fine. But let's fucking get into it. Our first topic today is Ant-Man 3 going to happen? We've all kind of assumed that a third Ant-Man movie was coming, considering Ant-Man 1 and Ant-Man and the Wasp were both successful in their own rights. They're some of the not putting a misnomer on it. They are the cheapest Marvel movies, and considering how much they made, they've made a successful profit out of those two Ant-Man films. And we've kind of assumed a third Ant-Man film was coming. But recently, in an interview with Paul Rudd, in terms of if he was asked, is a third Ant-Man movie coming? And he said, and I quote, "I don't know. You need to make a call to the top brass and start a campaign to make it happen." So, this doesn't sound, affirming, because number one, Paul Rudd, for those who don't know, is also a writer on both Ant-Man and Ant-Man and the Wasp. He has a very key role, not only in front of the camera but behind the camera. So he has a great relationship with Kevin Feige and all the producers and all the studio heads at Disney and Marvel Studios. He's pretty much well in tune with the franchise, besides playing the character. So to learn that we have to campaign for it doesn't sound like the odds for an Ant-Man 3 are happening. But in terms of it's kind of hard. This can go either way. Maybe there's not an Ant-Man 3 coming in phase 4, but maybe in phase 5. There's another story we're gonna get to, which may have a factor involved. But I'm a fan of Ant-Man 1, and I'm also a fan of Ant-Man and the Wasp. I know a lot of people don't like Ant-Man and the Wasp, but I actually have a fun time watching Ant-Man and the Wasp. So I'm hoping there's a third Ant-Man to close out the trilogy. That would be nice. I hope Paul Rudd and Evangeline Lilly, but also even if they don't make a third Ant-Man film, I feel like Ant-Man could be used in other Marvel movies, similar to what what Marvel does with the Hulk, seeding him into other movies like Thor Ragnarok and in the Avengers movies. I feel like maybe Ant-Man and the Wasp could be a part of other Marvel movies outside of the traditional Ant-Man story, because one could argue that Ant-Man's narrative purpose and Hank Pym's narrative purpose and maybe Hope's narrative purpose, I think there could be done after Ant-Man and the Wasp, and most certainly with Avengers Endgame. Hank Pym is reunited with Janet Van Dyne. In terms of the Wasp, Hope Van Dyne, I feel like her story truly is getting started. I would love to see more of that character, more of her story being fleshed out. I'd be totally down for a Wasp Disney Plus series, or the continuation of the Ant-Man and Wasp story in the form of a Disney Plus series, limited series. I mean, that's something I'd be interested in. But if an Ant-Man 3 is not going to happen, I feel like Ant-Man will still be in other Marvel movies. So because a lot of people really loved Paul Rudd's small but crucial role in Captain America: Civil War when he turned into Giant Man at the airport. And he had a very big role in Avengers Endgame, and he was great in that as well. So he knows how to play with the top brass, Marvel heroes. So I'm hoping, and with Wasp being a factor in there now that she's, spoiler alert, back from the dead, hopefully we get to see some sort of continuation of that character. I'd actually love to see a Wasp movie or a Wasp Disney Plus series. So who knows? I think the future of Ant-Man is in good. Regardless what Kevin Feige is the mastermind. He'll figure if Disney decides maybe we don't need a third Ant-Man. Kevin Feige clearly loves Ant-Man. He loves Paul Rudd. He loves working with Paul Rudd. They're going to figure it out, whether that's in the form of Ant-Man going to popping up in other movies, or Ant-Man and Wasp getting a Disney Plus continuation. Who knows? But we shall see. But I'm hoping we do get that. I'd be fine with a third Ant-Man film. I love both of them, so why not? Bring it on. So let's get into the next topic. What was it? Monday. At E3, Square Enix and Crystal Dynamics finally unveiled their trailer finally revealed their Avengers project. It's just straight up called the Avengers. It is going to be a game that will be released on PS4, Xbox One, and PC on May 15th, if I'm not mistaken, 2020. And they showed off some, the story where, I mean, you guys have probably seen the trailer. I'm not going to get into it, but we got some details regarding not only what the story is, what to expect from the game when it launches, an online mode where you can customize your heroes, no microtransactions, no loot boxes, none of that bullshit. So, I'm pretty happy about that. But this trailer has divided some fans. Well, I wouldn't say it's divided the fans in terms of character design, everything with the characters, I guess. I will say this, regarding my opinion on the, styles or the costumes or the whatever of the characters. I'm not big on the facial animation. I thought it looked a little bit off, specifically on Black Widow and Captain America. But, I think, the gameplay looks really cool, really fun. I'm not big on Captain America's costume either, but, there'll probably be skins where you could, have the costume from the movies or something like that, kind of similar to Spider-Man PS4, because I'm going to be honest with you, I didn't like that Spider-Man PS4 suit with the white logo and everything. I did not like it, so, the moment we could switch skins, switch suits, I took that chance. So I'm down with, so I'm not too worried about the costume all too much. I think the story looks intriguing. The part I'm most excited about is customizable heroes and power sets that in online mode. It really seems like Square Enix and Crystal Dynamics are really building this game to last a few years. And I'm all on board for it. I'm still very excited for this game. The moment it becomes available for pre-order on my PC, I will pre-order it. It looks pretty good. I like what I see. I'm obviously gonna get it, but I'm cautiously optimistic. Before I was intrigued, now I'm cautiously optimistic. There's still a year left. I'm sure my rant on the facial animations will the facial animations will clear up a bit. There's still roughly a whole year left of work on the game. I'm sure they're gonna tweak it as much as they can. I have the utmost faith in the team behind the game, and let's see what happens. I'm pretty excited. I'm gonna pre-order regardless. It's the Avengers. It's a video game. You get to play as everybody except for Hawkeye, maybe. But we'll see. So moving on to the next topic. Black Adam finally has a director. and it seems to be I'm gonna butcher this name, Jaume Colette Serra. And if that name sounds familiar, he directed a movie called The Shallows, The Orphan. He directed a bunch of Liam Neeson movies, The Commuter, Nonstop. There's another one he also did with Liam Neeson. I'm trying to remember. But he's also directing the upcoming Jungle Cruise with Dwayne The Rock Johnson. And if you know Dwayne The Rock Johnson, he likes the directors he's worked with. He's very much in sync with, if Dwayne The Rock Johnson likes a director, he'll work with him again. So that was the case with I'm forgetting the name of the director who did San Andreas with The Rock, and I think it was Brad Payton or something like that. They did not Skyscraper, San Andreas together, and then they reunited on Rampage. And then another example is The Rock starring in the director of Central Intelligence. They reunited again 2 years later for Skyscraper. So Dwayne The Rock Johnson clearly likes working. Who's going to be working on him with Jungle Cruise? Clearly likes the director of Jungle Cruise, Jaume Colette Serra. I guess that's a good sign. But I'm going to be honest with you. I'm not very big on the guy. I didn't care for I thought The Shallows was all right. I thought Nonstop was eh. I thought The Commuter was pretty dull. I thought Run All Night, that was the one he also did, was pretty mediocre. I'm looking forward to Jungle Cruise because of Dwayne Johnson and Emily Blunt and, the studio behind it. But I don't know. At this point, it kind of lies on the writer. But I don't know. It's pretty. I don't know. I'm a little torn. I'm also torn on the whole necessity for the need for this movie in the first place. So it's kind of just a bit to me. I mean, I'm gonna check it out. I'm obviously excited. It's The Rock. It's DC Comics. It's Black Adam. I'm gonna check it out, but I just don't. The name of the the director himself just doesn't excite me. It just doesn't feel like a very inspired choice. It just kind of feels like a choice, like a safe choice. But hopefully, with the right script, he could probably pull off something pretty great. And if The Rock sees something in him, then there's something I'm clearly not seeing. So I'm hoping for the best. Good luck, Jaume Colette Serra. Let's get this. At least there is some progress to this movie. The Rock was announced as playing the character, 5 years ago, and this movie is still not in front of the camera. What the hell? At least now there's some sort of development. It's only a matter of time before we get a release date, hopefully. So we'll see. All right, moving on to the next topic. So many DC fans were heartbroken was last week to the news that Swamp Thing was canceled. Now, Swamp Thing, if you've been watching the show, not Swamp Thing, the show, our show, we reported a couple weeks back that the 13 episode season was cut to the production of the 13 episodes season 1. The production of season 1 was halted after 10 episodes. It was originally supposed to be 13. They cut it to 10. Now it's canceled because of some sort of accounting error from the state of North Carolina and Warner Brothers, and the show ended up going over budget and all that. So DC Universe decided to cancel it outright, full on. It's canceled, and now reports are starting to come about that what is the fate of DC Universe, the streaming service? There's rumors that shows like Doom Patrol could get canceled, and Young Justice, I forgot, Outriders, I believe, has not been picked up for another season. Titan season 2 is filming. Doom Patrol was a pretty big hit for DC Universe, but has not been picked up for a second season yet. And a lot of people are speculating that Doom Patrol will be axed by DC Universes, or the DC streaming service known as DC Universe. So, and the rumor is that some of the shows that were made on DC Universe will be folded into Warner Brothers' streaming service. I don't know if it has a name. I think it's like Warner Media or something like that. I could be wrong, but for now, I'll just call it the Warner Brothers streaming service. I have not seen Swamp Thing yet. Ever since I've heard amazing thing, like great things about the show. I'm so behind on my television schedule. You have no idea. I am, I was pretty bummed to learn of its cancellation because now I don't feel compelled to watch it. And if I'm gonna be honest with you, excuse me as I take a sip of water because my mouth's about to dry up. If I'm being honest with you, I didn't feel that compelled to watch the show afterwards. After I heard about its cancellation, to be honest, and I'm getting a lot of texts from friends that are saying they're canceling DC Universe because, Swamp Thing's canceled, and the fate of these DC shows are unknown. Rumors of Doom Patrol getting canceled, Young Justice not being picked up. We got some other shows coming, but what's gonna happen to those? And it seems like DC Universe could very much be folded in to the Warner Brothers streaming service, which I think is a solid idea. Titans is, considering how cheap they make Titans for, I feel like that could easily be folded over into the Warner Brothers streaming service. But if I'm being 100% completely honest, I feel like this whole DC streaming service, DC Universe, was doomed from the start. The way they handled everything in terms of marketing it, launching it with that terrible first trailer for Titans. Garbage first trailer for Titans. So bad. And you can never make another first impression. Literally not including DC Universe on all forms of streaming platforms. I have a friend of mine that owns DC Universe but can't play it on his TV because it's not compatible. And it's not. I don't think it's available on some consoles. I don't know which one. It just kind of seemed like they kind of rushed out this streaming service without putting too much care into it. So to hear that it could be folded into the Warner Brothers streaming service doesn't surprise me. So it is what it is. It's unfortunate that people lost their jobs after this cancellation. It does suck, but it is what it is. But I'll probably will check out Swamp Thing eventually, after season 1 finishes. But one part I don't get, I get it. You want to cancel Swamp Thing, fine. Don't do it when only episode 1 has aired. There's now the majority of people would not be compelled to watch the show now. It's just announce its cancellation after season 1 is done. I don't know why you announce it now, but that's neither here nor there. Guys, I gotta be honest. Doing this show solo really sucks for my throat. So if I take constant pauses, it's because I'm drinking water. I'm hydrating my throat, lubricating it pretty well. That came out wrong. All right. So let's get into the next topic. Another Warner Brothers story. Warner Brothers / DC Films is not going to be doing Hall H at San Diego Comic-Con this year. This news kind of shocked a lot of fans. They were, DC could have easily, we know. I think it's. I don't know if it's confirmed yet, but it does seem like the case that Marvel is indeed going to Comic-Con. And arguably DC has put on a good show for the past number of years, for the past few years. And they absolutely crushed it last year with that Aquaman and Shazam trailer, double whammy, and then showing that Wonder Woman 1984 trailer. Specifically for the Hall H audiences, was a genius idea. They've been winning a lot of crowds over there ever since they've been going. Sorry, I'm taking another sip, guys. So it's pretty shocking to learn that they were skipping out this year, considering in terms of the DC, focusing on the DC film side. They got Joker coming out this October, which I didn't think they would promote anyways had they gone, because Joaquin Phoenix doesn't really do cons. He didn't even show up to the Sundance Film Festival, I think, or Cannes Film Festival when he had to promote a movie there. I'm not so sure which festival. but he didn't attend that. So you got Joker. Regardless, you could have showed some Joker footage. You could have had Birds of Prey footage, which is coming out in February. You could have had the first debut trailer for Wonder Woman 1984. You could have had Matt Reeves there and bringing Robert Pattinson onto the stage. You could have announced some casting for the Batman. You could have had Walter Hamada confirming a DC slate. You could have, John Kletzerac confirmed to direct Black Adam and have The Rock there and finally announce a release date. You could have done so much that could have, try to steal the limelight from Marvel. But I think, at the end of the day, that's what it is. I just don't think Warner Brothers can compete with what Marvel is going to do at Comic-Con. I feel like Marvel is going to Comic-Con, and we're all kind of assuming Marvel is going to announce Phase 4 at Comic-Con. And if I'm being honest, all the things that I said Warner Bros. Could have done at Hall H, it was all going to be upstaged by what Marvel was going to announce or showcase in that hall at Comic-Con. Taking another sip, so 1 second. Sorry guys, doing a show by yourself is really tough. But Marvel's riding an all-time high. DC is still trying to win over the fans. So I'm a bit torn. I am a bit torn about Warner Brothers taking a back seat out of Comic-Con, at least Hall H. So I do feel like maybe they wouldn't get the PR they'd want to had they, because Marvel is going to be there, it seems. And, maybe the only number one thing trending will be Marvel Phase 4 slate. Black Widow trailer probably revealed because they're filming Black Widow now. Marvel is riding an all-time high with Spider-Man Far From Home coming out, with Avengers Endgame dominating all the records. It just seems like such a perfect storm for Marvel, and DC's kind of left in the back. So hope, and one Warner Brothers president did tease that they'll be back next year. So hopefully we'll see them next year at San Diego Comic-Con. So that is that. Next story. Oof. So this really breaks my heart, guys. So Dark Phoenix. We talked last week. This was before the Dark Phoenix review embargo lifted. Dark Phoenix opened. No spoilers here. We're not going to get into spoilers. I did see the movie. I did, but I like I said, I'm not going to give away spoilers or anything. So Dark Phoenix opened up to not only to the lowest scores in the franchise in terms of reviews, but also the lowest opening weekend box office in the franchise, opening to just $32 million domestically opening weekend. That is not great, and I don't know what the Rotten Tomatoes score is, but I will check. But last I checked, it was at a 30-something. Oh, it's lower. It's at 23%. Yikes. And, no spoilers, but I did not like this movie. I thought it was pretty fucking boring, if I'm honest. So, but like I said, I did not really want this to go out on a whimper. So I'm being honest. I kind of wanted this, to be a great movie. We haven't heard the best things for months now. For months we've been hearing, this movie's not going to turn out the way we liked. So it is what it is. And then you have people like the director, writer Simon Kinberg saying this is what the movie originally was, and then the star saying this is what we were originally doing. So none of that helped. I just feel like this was a dead missile coming in. This is the OG superhero franchise for me, at least. I had X-Men 1, X-Men 2 on VHS back in the day. This was the franchise I started out with, along with Superman, 1978 Superman, Richard Donner's Superman, and then Tim Burton's Batman and Batman Returns. And then obviously the Sam Raimi trilogy, and then it was the X-Men, the original Bryan Singer movies that have started in 2000 and spanning 19 years. And obviously the franchise have had some highs, very, very high highs, and some low lows. And unfortunately, the franchise kind of went out on a whimper. So, and it kind of came out earlier this past week after the numbers and everything settled. I believe it was producer, Marvel Studios executive producer, Victoria Alonso said that they were gonna have X-Men take a break for now, and I think that's a smart idea. Let them rest. I think we need a break from the X-Men. Let's get another franchise going. We'll talk about that in a minute. But yeah, this is not good. This is a really bad crash and burn. And I'm pretty disappointed. I'm pretty bummed about this. I really wanted this movie to be good. Like I said, we have not been hearing the greatest things for a very long time. There were words of reshoots and all that stuff going down. It just, I don't know, man. It really sucks. It's heartbreaking to see the franchise go out like this. And for me, if I'm being honest, the X-Men franchise kind of ended with X-Men Days of Future Past and Logan. So Apocalypse I wasn't really big on, and Dark Phoenix was I didn't like it, guys. I really did not like it. It was so fucking boring. You had no idea. And I know Josh wasn't the biggest fan of Dark Phoenix either, so I guess that's our little review on that. But yeah, Dark Phoenix, yeesh, what a whimper. Yeah, God, man. All right, let's get in to the next topic. So a rumor started circulating that the Fantastic Four could be coming to the MCU sooner than you might think. So I don't know where the rumor originally started. I did want to give credit, but honestly, I can't remember off the top of my head. I don't have my show notes right in front of me. But it might have been Geeks Worldwide or MCU Cosmic, one of those, those great guys over there. They have heard from reliable sources that a Fantastic Four movie is coming sooner than you think, and that Ant-Man and Ant-Man and the Wasp director Peyton Reed is pushing to direct. And for a very long time, Peyton Reed has been associated with the Fantastic Four for a very long time. He back in 2003, he had pitched to Fox a Fantastic Four movie that was going to take place in the 60s and everything. And Fox decided no and hired Tim Story to do what then became the 2005 version of the Fantastic Four and the 2007 sequel, Fantastic Four: Rise of the Silver Surfer. So this has clearly been a passion project of Peyton Reed's for a very long time. He's gone on numerous times on record saying he's a fan of this franchise. This is Marvel's first family. He has so much love and passion for this. So like I said, I'm more than happy that Marvel is prioritizing the Fantastic Four before doing the X-Men. I'm so happy about that. I think it's about time the Fantastic Four come in to the MCU. I think it's a great idea. I think it's like the best way you could do handle the Fox properties in order. I think it's about time we get a damn good Fantastic Four movie, other than The Incredibles. So I'm down for it. In terms of Peyton Reed directing, now like I said, this kind of ties into the whole Ant-Man 3 thing. So if Peyton Reed gets a chance to direct this, that could mean like an Ant-Man 3 is a bit on the back burner for now, and maybe Peyton Reed just wants to do Fantastic Four, which I'd be down to see Peyton Reed do Fantastic Four first over an Ant-Man 3, because like I said, this is very much a passion project for him. He's been wanting to do this movie for a very, very long time, and he's game. And if Kevin Feige clearly likes working with Peyton Reed, I'm sure Kevin Feige trusts Peyton Reed full well. And if Marvel is game for doing a Fantastic Four movie right out of the gate sooner than you think, I think the rumor, this part was just take this part with a grain of salt. The rumor is that maybe in 2022 we could see them in their movie, but that we'll see. But yeah, I can't wait for the Fantastic Four to hopefully finally get their due, and I'm hoping Peyton Reed knocks it out of the park. So moving on to our final story of the day. I'm gonna take a sip, guys. 1 second. All right. Sorry about that. Final story of the day. So back in April, Disney held a not a press conference, like a investor conference where they unveiled Disney Plus, their plans for Disney Plus, all the shows they were announcing, and a couple of days ago, some high-res images from that event came up online, including one that caught the eyes of many Marvel fans. Was this image right here of Kevin Feige presenting what will be the Loki show on Disney Plus. There you could, on the top you could see the logo, and below that you could see concept art of what looks to be Loki in the 1970s. You can see the Jaws poster right behind him. So this is very much the 1970s. Now, we've heard for a while this was going to be a prequel show. I was kind of hoping maybe, I'm like, regardless, I'm still excited for a Loki series no matter what. But I was kind of looking forward to what the show was going to be, was in Endgame when Loki grabs the Tesseract. When Tony and Ant-Man are trying to pull off the time heist in New York 2012, Loki grabs the Tesseract and goes away. We don't know where he goes. And maybe that's what we thought the show was going to be about, the moment after he portals out of there. And maybe that still could be the case. Maybe he uses the Tesseract to time travel or whatever. I don't know what the science of that is. Who knows? But regardless, I'm still excited. It looks like Marvel's putting in the time and effort into creating something special with this Loki show. It still kind of excites me how we're going to see Loki. The previous reports were we were going to learn how Loki played a part in human history, affecting people throughout the course of our history. And Kevin Feige has said that Loki has lived a very, very long life. What has he been up to all of his life prior to when we first meet him? And I'm still excited for the show. Like I said, I'd be more interested in a premise about when Loki took the Tesseract, rather than the prequel that we're going to see here. But I'm still very, very, very excited for it. I'm glad Tom Hiddleston is coming back to play the role. I think he's one of the Josh Brolin's Thanos. And then maybe Tom Hiddleston's Loki has been a fan favorite for a while in terms of villains in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. And I cannot wait for all the Disney Plus shows from Marvel, including Falcon and Winter Soldier, WandaVision, and the rumored Hawkeye show is in the works. So we'll see where that goes. And that will do it on this very short episode of the ABNC show. Like I said, Josh will hopefully be back next week. We'll be kicking ass next week together as always. But you in the meantime, you can find me on social media at Pakibruh, Pakibruh, Bruh. And don't forget to check out themediabite.com. The links will be in the description. We got some great editorials. We got some amazing scoops coming your way. Be sure to follow our social media that I'll also link in the description. Make sure you hit that like and subscribe button to keep up with all of our content that we're uploading onto the channel. Look out for our Star Wars show hosted by Sean Hussey. That we finally launched a couple of weeks ago. It's called the Republic Outpost Radio. So keep your eyes open for that. It's a great Star Wars show. If you're a Star Wars fan, be sure to check it out. Follow DCU News. Follow my co-host Josh Sharp. Like I said, he's my brother in arms. I fucking love that guy with all my heart. Just like, comment, subscribe. Tell us what you think of any of the topics that I discussed here by myself. And we'll see you guys next week. Peace.